Now, let's go down the corridors of time to a time when Bhagwan graced Gujarat with his divine presence. Presently in the narrative, at grandmother's behest, Swami, members of his family, devotees from the south, devotees from Gujarat, and grandmother and family were all traveling in a convoy from Jamnagar to Dwarika. Yes, it was a momentous time. They were in the making of history. Swami, the Yuga Avatar, traveling to his previous residence, Dwarika, whereas Krishna, he reigned supreme over the world. And can you imagine the kind of excitement with the devotees? It was palpable in the air. Everyone was sure that Swami would tell them an untold story of the past, stories of valor and chivalry, or probably of love and romance, or of the royal intrigues, show them a monument which they didn't know about, a relic of the past, or talk about the submerged citadel of yore, which had stood invincible against the test of time. They entered Dwaraka. They were on the outer fringes of Dwaraka, and the crowd started swelling. There was a state of confusion as everyone wanted Swami's Pada Namaskar. And because of the state of unrest, the authorities requested Swami that we are a little apprehensive about the security arrangement. Can you please come to Dwarika some other day? We are not able to control the crowds. And Swami obliged and turned around. A pall of disappointment descended upon the convoy as they slowly winded their way back to Jamnagar. This is not what they had expected. Here they were about to make history, and what happened is they've turned round. There was absolute silence. Nobody spoke in disappointment. Swami saw the feelings of the devotees, and somewhere along the drive, he stopped the convoy, alighted from the car, and went towards the sea. Over there, the ocean paid obeisance to him, and as he came back, he settled on the golden sands. He made a small mound of sand, made some kind of a drawing on the top. It was no rocket science. We are so close to Dwarika. Everyone knew he would drawing about Krishna. And then he put his hand in and plunged out an exquisitely carved statue of Lord Krishna. It was made of gold, and the mudra was Krishna playing the flute. And then Swami asked the devotees around, "What is this?" And everyone said, "Swami, it's a golden statue of Krishna." And then Swami asked grandmother, "Rajmata, kya hai?" "Oh Swami, ye to mere kanaiya hai, ye to mera lala hai." As she burst out in emotion, Swami said, "Others saw the gold, she saw her kanaiya." So Swami presented the statue to grandmother. Now everybody was a little upbeat, the emotions were lifted a little, and they made their way back to Jamnagar. But where you have the Lord Krishna and Sai Krishna, nutcut in their nature, the very embodiment of mischief, there was something else in the air. Next morning, a motley group of experts gathered under the umbrella of the ASI, that is, the Archaeological Survey of India, gathered at the palace gates and said that soon a law is going to be placed which will be called the Annals of the Antiquity Act, and under that any object deemed by the authorities as a relic of the past, whether it comes out in your backyard or anywhere, is solely the property of the government. And this statue was found so close to Dwarka. They said, this is an antique piece, and under the law soon to be formed, we have all the rights to confiscate it. You can imagine how grandmother was. Absolutely livid. She was a very strong woman, a lion of a person. She said, over my dead body, is anybody going to take this statue? And there was total confusion in the house. She even summoned the erstwhile Jamnagar forces. We had the cavalry, the infantry, the artillery, and those people started coming in. She said, we are not going down without a fight. All this is happening on the ground floor of the palace, and on the first floor, Swami is happily sitting on the jhula, swinging away merrily as if nothing is happening. Absolutely calm and tranquil. That is the God. He is Tatastha, forever the eternal witness, and his drama was playing on. It carried on for some time. It even passed into the social grapevine over there. People started getting scared. Bullets were going to fly around. Lots of people moved away from the vicinity. And then some pragmatic-minded people approached Swami and said, Swami, can you please intervene? These Rajputs always find the glory in war, and they are going to love fighting. So then Swami called grandmother and said, Rajmata, aise karo, unko bulao. Ask them to date the statue. So grandmother knew that Swami was up to something. So she went down, but a little reluctantly, went down with the statue. The experts were summoned, and as they were ushered in, she said, date it. Now, you would be aware that the art of dating an artifact is an art. It's not an empirical science. You look at the expression of the statue, the eyes, whether they are looking at a short distance or are they looking at infinity, whether the lips are smiling or just straight, or a beatific expression on the face. What are the mudras like? The stylization of the apparels, the ornamentation which adorns the statue, and placing all these into circumspect, that is how people decide that which era did this statue belong to, or which region of the country did the statue belong to. Now, they kept looking at the statue and turning it around and round, and they were just not able to figure out even a few hours later. And finally they said, this statue embodies elements of diverse eras, diverse periods of time, diverse regions. We cannot place it to any one particular region. Until they can't do it, they cannot prove it is an antique. So they went back empty-handed. Triumphant, grandmother came back to Swami and related this story. Everyone was very happy and they retired. The next day they had to go to, Swami was going to go to the Ayurvedic college, which my grandmother had put up. They were going to a Sainik school. Then the day later, Swami was going to inaugurate the Digvijay Dwar at Somnath, which grandmother had put up. So there was a lot of excitement. And the next morning, something else happened. The central power dispensation at that point of time was not known to be benign towards royal family members in general, and very strong personalities like grandmother in particular. So this fired a second salvo. This came in the form of an already enacted act, which was the Gold Control Act. Now, for your knowledge, under the auspices of this act, all the gold was taken away from people when it was a little in excess of a few grams that people have as jewelry, and all of that was melted. And that is how India got its gold reserve to print its currency. It is necessary for a country. So under that act, this statue, which was about 15 inches high and weighed close to about 2.5 kilos, was definitely falling under the purview of the act. And this was a high-level team which had come down. And Swami once again said to grandmother, Rajmata, usko jaake pucho, is it 22 carat, 24 carat, what is it? By now people were sure that Swami was up to another drama. So merrily she went down and told them, here's the statue. And they were assayers, and they were government assayers. They knew their job inside out. And they looked at grandmother with a smug expression on their face. Very soon we will tell you what it is. It looks like 24 carat. And then we are going to go away with the statue. Time for you to say goodbye. And they took a file and they filed under the feet of Lord Krishna's statue, at where the souls are. They filed a little, took the quantum of the residue that came out and started testing it. Few minutes later, they again started filing a second time and again testing it. And this carried on and on. The government file had many Pad Namaskars of Lord Krishna before they finally decided to tell the family. It was not 22 carat gold. It definitely wasn't 24 carat gold. It wasn't Kundan gold, which is 100% gold. It was nothing known to mankind. It didn't come under any of the elements known to man in the universe. A Leela of Swami. And of course, everyone was very happy.